Hello guys, Yasin here. I wanted to record like a deep dive review of Fnatic games on Sunset, but decided to postpone it for tomorrow. I just have some sort of intro for today's game versus Vitality then. What is interesting about Fnatic attacker side, kinda unique, is the way they approaching the map, let's say, which is completely different than most team would do. And it's something that I'm familiar with because we used to play very similar in SK, and I like the way they're playing, so I want to talk about it for a bit. At the beginning, though, I want to talk about their composition. So the one thing that they have different is Astra, right? Is Astra, we already could see what can Astra do, but for people who didn't watch the game or whatever, Astra, first of all, what's the best about her? It's the stars, right? The stars, what they do is that even if they're not gonna use the stars, but they're gonna put them somewhere, it's creating sort of pressure, right? It's like staying in enemy team head at some point, right? So this example is that even if Fnatic is planning to end up towards B, they're still gonna use the star, and they're gonna take back the star at some point, right? So fake smoke will happen, enemy team will see, okay, this is some sort of fake smoke, and we're gonna end up towards B at the end of the day. But enemy team saw the star and saw the fake smoke, which means we can at the end of the day we can condition this fake star to do something else, right? And we're gonna fake star in the future, but we're gonna try to push through it, we're gonna try to explode through it, do whatever. And this is something that Astra have better than, for example, if you're just playing with Omen, right? Because Omen gonna start, he can obviously put the smoke, right? And it's also creating some sort of conditioning. But then at the end of the day, multiple times we're gonna end up just going B with two smokes being used and not Astra Star not even being over there, right? So yeah, when we start in the round, we can put multiple Astra Stars and they're just there to create some sort of conditioning, and we can see them on the ground, so we can just condition a little bit better. For post-plant, obviously, we can also use the Astra Pool, which is insanely good. If we want to play post-plant slow, we can combine the Astra Pool with the Shock Darts, and Astra Pool can many times allow us to do some sort of, longer flanks, let's say. So this is kind of annoying. And for the defender side, what Astra can bring to the table is that she has extra utility for the retake, which is nice, but her pool can also be used to counter the Gekko plant, right? We could see it even yesterday when I feel like Footballist tried to plant over here in a perfect position, over there. It was pulled by the Astra pool, and the plant happened at the end of the day, or a little bit in a different spot. So for example, the flank over here cannot see it. For that reason, we in SK started to use Killjoy at some point, because Killjoy for this map, from my perspective, is insanely good to counter Gekko. Whatever plans Gekko would like to do, you can basically just counter the plant and kill the Gekko thingy. And if you're gonna kill the Gekko, they need to basically plant on their own, so they cannot play around the timings when they would, for example, go as free, put the plant, but push here instantly. They cannot, because the plant is down. They cannot just plant over here and stay for post plant here. They have to commit into the side, which is allowing us, for example, maybe to flood or do stuff like this. So countering the Gekko is something definitely that I feel like not a lot of teams is trying to do. I would say none of the teams are trying to counter the Gekko plant, which for me is insanely important on this map. What are they missing? Obviously, they don't have Omen, but so the most important thing that they're missing when they have no Omen is, first of all, it's harder for them to counter enemy team crunches on mid, right? Most of the time, we would have Omen here just sitting if we want to do something around mid. Someone can, flash back, wherever. Thanks to this, we can counter the crunch. They're missing this double scaling up towards A, when we could instantly Omen TP here with Jet Dash or with some other, C4 from Raze or from Neon Wall, and then Omen could flash back the guy which is there. We can still scale full blind. Omen is great to counter util, right? Whatever fight we would have early game around here, around over there, or maybe even B-main, right? We're just running out B-main, etc. Enemy team is trying to do the trap. If they're making a trap, we can flash back, we can trade utility, we're gonna stay alive. They don't have it. They basically don't have it, which means they kind of have to play a little bit slower, right? They cannot gamble that much. And this is something that I feel like you can tell by Fnatic. They're not gambling a lot on this map, right? They're trying to play slow. They have to play slow. They have to play based on info, right? They have to play based on info. They need to go mid. They need to poke mid, break the tripwires, put some smoke, fake smokes, understand what's happening. They have to retake A late. Why? Why retaking A late is so important, not taking A instantly many times, is because the defender setup on this map, the one that we can see in the first 10 seconds sometimes, the fake one, right? So in the first 10 seconds we can have 3 people here, but they're gonna instantly leave, transform towards mid. So if we're gonna overreact, oh, it's 3A, let's go mid, we might die to the crunch, right? If we're gonna call, oh, breach stun over here and arrow, it still might not be the true setup, because that could be just fake. We can have arrow and breach stun with Cypher playing here, and the same case, enemy team is trying to crunch middle, right? So regaining the info on A After this 15 to 20, maybe even to 13 seconds, most of the time will tell us the true setup. If there's two people, yes, there is two people. If there is no one, most likely just Cypher, maybe passive operator and elbow, right? We can just walk into this AL8 and also it's going to give us a lot of info. So like Fnatic kind of has to play slow. The difference though between Fnatic playing slow and the other teams playing slow is the fact that they using this part of the map for slow gameplay. They're using this part of the map for slow gameplay, and they're using market for slow gameplay, but most teams also gonna do it. But they're using this part of the map for the slow gameplay, which I feel like teams are not used to, let's say, okay? We're gonna talk about this playing based on info soon, but to showcase that Fnatic, pre-plant kills. You look how many kills they found in this area in the last 2 games. This is only 2 games, right? This is more than 24 rounds, right? But like if we're gonna talk only about attacker side, it's not that much over here. So yeah, it's only 2 games. A lot of kills, a lot of deaths as well, as we can see. A lot of stuff was happening here basically, right? If you're gonna compare this with some, and yeah, most of the time obviously it's Hero, Boaster and Darky going there, Alpha Jet and Chronicle. They should not be there because like Breach can help with stun over here and this stun. Sorry, if it's needed. And Sova has to kind of drawn out these positions, or he will arrow over here through the window, so they're not over here, right? And if you're gonna check in the other teams, Heretics, for example, which are insane on this map, right? They are not going mid almost ever, right? These kills are also pre-plant, that's important, right? But like they're not getting kills on this area pre-plant. They playing more gamble, execute, fights. Obviously, I'm not saying that the gambling, but the point is like they have different playstyle, they have different approach. They're gonna die sometimes here, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deaths with, I feel like 9 games. I feel like I put 9 games here or 8 games or something, so it's a lot. This is one more time, only 2 games, it's important to keep in mind. A lot of games here. Vitality, not playing mid. Don't have a lot of kills on middle, pre-plant, almost. Not middle, but like top middle here, right, kinda. They don't have that much. PaperX, the team that does have a little bit different comp, they do have some sort of stuff here, but they kind of have to in terms of they just playing with Sage, right? So it's good to go top mid sometimes, right? Not that much. Navi, not that much as well. Genji, they do have a lot, but this is also another difference between teams that actually playing there and Fnatic, is that this is done the first 20 seconds. Genji will have a lot of stuff there, because they're playing Jet, the same as South, for example, choose. They're gonna play Jet, so we're gonna have multiple times in situation. We're gonna have Flash and Jet dash in, Jet dash there. Jet on middle, because of the dashes and the way they're gonna approach this part of the map, can break so many timings, right? So Genji will abuse mid, but these kills, most of them, are in the first 20 seconds. More kills and deaths. They're just fast-paced team. Gentlemates, the same. In VCT, they're the only team that are playing top mid a lot. They're playing Neon, but it's the same case. This is really fast gameplay. First 20 seconds, we have 3-4 players over there. If we are not there after 20-13 seconds, we're not gonna be there. Why? Because we are overall playing faster and we're already on the site, or we're just not gonna think about using this part of the map that late. And Fnatic, based on what I saw, I feel like I did not check all the VCT teams, but the ones that are like pretty good and they have some sort of 3 games. In the 2 games, they did more pressure here late around after 45 seconds than almost every single VCT team I saw. And this is a little bit different from other teams. That's why we could see that not every single team has the right protocols for that, because they're not ready for that. The best example, Carmine Corp, right, which are playing around. They played at some point here, and they get punished a few times when Fnatic try to do this play. From my perspective, this split is happening. There are 2 options that we have to do. One option is we're pushing A main, because A main always gonna have less people than top mid, and we're trying to push A main, we're trying to get kills here, or we're trying to leave the side, which Karmic Corp did at some point. Why leaving the side is better than staying for an elbow, from my perspective? Obviously, all depends on the context, but why leaving gonna be better? It's gonna be better because at the end of the day, if attacker side is deciding for this split, they need to invest hella utility to make it work, right? They have to go through so many line of defenses. 1 line of defense, 2nd line of defense, another line of defense, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have to clear the side, maybe clear this. True, to make all of this, attacker side has to invest a lot of utility, which means they don't have many utility for post plant, which means our retake most of the time should be fine. Retaking on this map is not that hard. I feel like it's not hard. Obviously, the B side is kind of, yeah, with the meta to play B main. But I feel like if you can, sorry, save a little bit more util, you can also, we can see teams dealing with this better and better with the time, right? So this sort of protocols, it's hard to have them in a proper way if you're just not playing versus this sort of gameplay that much, let's say. And I could clearly see this as well, because when we played this map, we also would play mid, maybe not insanely a lot, but we would also play mid late many times. So we would also be the team which is trying to play slow at the beginning and just get the info and then understand what we want to do. And we would poke middle a lot, and it would be the same idea, which is Cypher, Duelist, and in our case, Gekko going mid, and then we would have just, Brimstone and Viper being more in A main and the other teams, right? So we would start very slow, 1-3-1, just gain info, and based on the info we would play. And I feel like teams are not used to play versus this that much. We could see in the first VOD even I was saying that we can still see teams on VCT starting the round and be like, okay, 3 people here, let's make a lot of noise, let's smoke this, let's one guy here, one guy walk here. If enemy team gonna smoke here, we're not gonna do anything about this, which means they can have this guy here and they can have 4 players towards here, and we're still gonna just freeze, and we're gonna end up going B, which for defender side in theory is very obvious. And as long as we're not gonna remove Kenny, so the guy which is holding the the map alone, if we're not gonna remove Kenny, we will end up going into the stack. And I feel like a lot of teams still play like this. They are starting the round, okay, let's just go B. It doesn't matter what's the info from enemy team, they're just gonna go towards B. So I feel like Fnatic is this type of the team which is always trying to play slow and to manipulate enemy team to create question marks. That's why Astra is so cool for that, and try to play around these timings. And because they do play slow, multiple times they can understand what is the setup of enemy team. They can read perfectly every single guy, and they understand, okay, top mid is free. We can easily just do a lot of noise and walk like this, and we're gonna get kills because like we know there's only one guy, and if you're gonna do something, they're gonna react. We can see Fnatic doing cool runs like, okay, we're gonna put cage up and camera to re-clear A to get info over there, and we're gonna do some sort of fake noise like breach flash, and 3 seconds later we're gonna drone towards B, so enemy team might react based on that, right? Because it's A, oh no, it's a fake A, they're droning B, so some reaction around the map gonna happen. And Fnatic then is just waiting on middle to try to get a kill on the guy which is gonna react, right? They manipulating a lot. They're trying to manipulate. They're trying to bait out rotations. I feel like the mid running is really well, which I'm gonna review in tomorrow VOD review. But they're doing this a lot, right? And if you're playing slow like this, I feel like it's the way to play this map from my perspective. So for example, we're playing some normal default. That would be the default. Like we would run, for example, a lot. It's not a secret. We would literally play it every single time. One smoke here to create a pressure, Viper or Brimstone one, with the gap or without the gap. Omen instantly TP, Gekko start with the flash. The flash would be changed depending what we want. Cypher or QJ taking B main control, trying to get the info, right? And Jet starting here, maybe going towards the tiles, right? And mid would just break the stuff from the Cypher, shoot everything, break everything we can. And we're just playing based on info. If it's heavy A in terms of breach stun, raise nade, and we know that, I don't know, Arrow used the Sova Arrow, whatever, and we know that B is weak in terms of the util, we could, for example, B split really fast, right? And this comp would allow us maybe to use the top mid for that as well, because Jet has dash, because Steam Beacon, because Omen TPs, like we would be able to be so fast into making these things, right? And we also saw, also in Fnatic that they also have this type of stuff, that they're just playing slow, right? After a few seconds of the run, they're gonna regain the info on A, to actually check what's their like true setup, because like we cannot trust this info setup instantly. They're gonna sow race, breach with the stun after this 20 seconds, let's say, and they understand that enemy team has nothing to hold B because they saw Omen on top mid, and it's only race over here and Cypher. Sorry, not even race. It's only Cypher plus I feel like Sova. So they know that B split is free, and they just doing nothing, getting info, seeing the setup, reacting. And they're playing this a lot. It's just, I feel like they're doing it super, super good. I don't think it's also hard on this map, but they're doing it super well. Enemy team took instantly B, right? It could be heavy B, or maybe they took B as a fake because they want us to go middle because they're gonna do some sort of crunch, right? The same as you would do on split. It's very, very popular, right? That we faking the B main aggression just to have two people here. These two people gonna instantly react, and as for we're gonna try to nuke middle when enemy team is trying to speed up and react, right? So instead of reacting into the middle, our reaction gonna be, okay, let's reclear A then. Let's understand if they're putting this sort of pressure, who is on A. Most likely it's Cypher. If it's Cypher, let's break the camera, right? If it's not Cypher, maybe it's Operator. So let's push back the Operator. After we broke the stuff, we can retake B main because most of the team is gonna leave it anyway, or we can do whatever, right? But like they're just gonna play reactively. Nothing is A and B, but we wanna go fast towards mid. This player has to call, guys. Nothing B, it's free. A is also free. Be careful mid. Could be a crunch, right? So instead of just walking mid as we wanted to, we're gonna do a step back. We're gonna maybe adjust the smoke, let the smoke disappear. Then Brimstone gonna re-smoke. We're gonna use the Gekko molly. We're gonna try to bait out this mid crunch, right? And many teams, for example, in tier 2, or even in practice versus tier 1, they would fail into these things, right? So like we just gonna play fully based on the info. We can play around the smokes a lot, right? With this comp, the same as they try to do. So they're trying to play around the stars, right? They're gonna smoke and fake smoke, or they're gonna smoke and fake smoke. They're gonna fake smoke, fake smoke, fake smoke. At some point, they're gonna explode through it. And if you're playing double smoke controller composition, it's very easy to condition the smokes and play around them, right? Because you can do everything you want. You can smoke this few times, then smoke and explode through. You can smoke. You can use these smokes and do B exec, B split, and after this do this smokes, fake B, and go towards A, right? There's multiple options, right? It's so easy. But because they have Astra, they can also do it till some point with the stars. With only Omen, you cannot do it that well, and they're allowing themselves to do it, right? With this comp, we can play on the timings. Yeah, we spoke about this, and speeding up. With this comp, you can also speed up a lot, right? If you want to. So we can do some sort of B exec, right? Even though enemy team might think we cannot go through the trap, we can dash through with the updraft and Omen TP through. It's still doable. We can do some sort of fast B splits from top mid, right? Something that Fnatic also tries to do so much. It's so strong from my perspective. So do this sort of B splits. It's so good because of so many angles. It's hard to cover all of these positions at the same time. And because of how the map is huge, the time is going to be always off for the players. Not always, but many times. We could see even Footballists and OT on defender side. They were like, yeah, Fnatic did this last time, that they played a lot of top mid, so could be a thing. So let's play with this tripwire. And there was the rounds that they even had a breach over here, right? The last round, I feel like, and Gekko over here. They had a read what's gonna happen, but they still lost the round because, like, at the end of the day, all of the timings here and the utility usage might be a little bit awkward because you're not playing this a lot, let's say, in these areas on practices because teams are just not there. Not a lot of teams is playing this, so it's something new for the teams, right? So they cannot do more mistakes, let's say. You can still do A execs if you want, right? And we could also see that Fnatic was trying to, condition A lot, do the Sauron, so this is arrow and flash here, do the Sauron with the one way to nothing, with the fake start nothing, then do the fake start WCP with the same util, etc. So they're trying to change. Like if they want to, they can explode towards A, right? And do some sort of A retakes, like as an explosion as well. So we're just gonna group up, stun, explode through, go in, blah blah blah. What I feel like this comp is missing though, it's hard for them, I feel like, to take instantly A with the Fnatic comp and just go A all the time. Doesn't matter what's happening. I feel like this might be a little bit harder, but it's still doable in a way. So yeah, I feel like that's something that I'm very interested in how to see how the Vitality versus Fnatic game gonna look like. We could see Vitality having some issues back in the days. Back in the days, what does it look like? Sounds like versus BBL on this map, when BBL just destroyed them with the aiming thingy. But after this game, they're just playing very well around this A as well. They're doing a lot of stuff here, so they learned their lesson for sure. I'm curious if Vitality gonna try to counter somehow this thingy and the slow approach from Fnatic. The thing is though, the slow approach on this map is so hard to counter, I feel, because if you wanna play fast with this comp, you can still do it. You're gonna maybe feel less comfortable because you will have to sometimes gamble more. Yeah, let's just go A. Let's just go A. Fuck it, double up, let's go A. You might gamble more. It might still work though. So if they want to do it, they can do it. As they kind of showed versus Foot, right? Versus Carmine Corp. They were playing very towards top and etc. Versus Football is how they start the game. Round number 3, they have race ultimate. So let's instantly execute B. Round number 4, let's instantly execute B. So, from footballers POV, they could be like, oh, they changed their playstyle. It's something completely new. Like, let's forget about our anti on top mid. Let's play our game. The issue for Fnatic was that they failed 2 times, so it wasn't as a big, change of the way. But they can change the gameplay if they want, even for a few rounds, and it can be still very strong. The only thing that I can see being an issue for Fnatic is that I feel like many times they won the round they should not. They should never win these rounds on attacker sides. And there are 2 types of rounds. Either enemy team had a good read, because enemy team is also trying to counter these things. They had good reads, etc. And Hero just won them the round by getting 3 kills, 4 kills from market, whatever. Like, Hero won insanely amount of rounds alone. And the other issue is if they're not gonna clear the info fully. So there was rounds versus Footballists, for example, that Fnatic start early towards A. They're starting early. They can see nothing A. So they're clearing all the angles. They saw the camera. The camera was broken. They broke the camera. So, okay, they know Cypher is towards A. So they're going to have a good play in terms of they're going to do some sort of fake. They're going to try to do some crunch, blah, blah, blah. But then the next time they're entering towards A as well, this camera is not being broken. So, like, an enemy team, which is Footballists, they knew it's B, so they stacked as 4, they still lost the round. But the thing is, if you're deciding to play so slow, they're gonna be rounds when you're not gonna just clear all the info, or enemy team gonna re-clear the info you try to clear, whatever. And you need to be very careful to have like a proper protocols. Like, if we're actually taking A, let's take all of this. Let's make sure to break this tripwire, as Fnatic is trying to do. Search for all the cameras. Let's make sure we're breaking it, because like as long as we have elbow or like whatever you're calling it, like we can stay there for 20 seconds and then execute after, right? So it's fine, but like we need to make sure we secure these areas. So Fnatic has to be careful, because Footballists few times had a perfect read, and Fnatic sometimes just was not aware, and they still won the round that I feel like they shouldn't. But yeah, it's also part of the game. So I feel like that's it for this short intro for to the game. I'm very curious how today Fnatic gonna play around this top mid. I feel like it's very interesting the way they trying to play this this map. And I'm gonna record some VOD review, like deeper one, out of these 3 games, I guess tomorrow, because there's a lot of cool stuff that Fnatic does mid round that I feel like not a lot of teams in VCT is actually doing. But I also obviously didn't watch all the games recently, so yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you on Watch Party, whoever gonna join my channel.